Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Today we're going deep into the lore of Demogorgon,
Oh, yeah.
Prince of Demons.
Yeah.
Buckle up. Things are going to get chaotic.
You can say that again. His history's twisted, unpredictable, like the abyss itself.
So true. Just picture them. Two baboon heads always fighting, tentacles for arms, reptilian lower body, pure nightmare fuel.
Right. But there's a ton of mythology behind that monstrous look.
So where do we even start with a being like Demogorgon?
Well, maybe with his origin stories. There's two main ones, both super mysterious and debated.
Ooh, conflicting origin stories. That's always fun. Tell me more. What's the first one?
Some say Demogorgon was the first Tanari, born from primal fears of mortal souls, like terror itself, given form.
Okay, makes sense. He's definitely terrifying. So if he's the first Tanari, what's that mean for other demons?
Well, Tanari are a specific type of demon from the Abyss, known for their power and chaos. So, if true, he's basically their ancestor.
Wow. So he's not just a demon lord, he's practically the father of a whole demonic race. That's huge. But what about the Queen of Chaos? Wasn't she ruling the Abyss then?
Yeah, and here's where it gets even more interesting. Even she thought he was too much, too monstrous, even for her chaotic realm. Cast him out, called him a deformed anomaly.
He was too chaotic even for chaos itself.
Wow, no wonder there's so much mystery around him, like he was erased from Abyss history.
Exactly. Feels like many powerful beings would rather forget he exists.
Makes sense. But you said there's another origin theory.
Yeah, some say he might be primordial, existing even before the Tanari, even maybe the first being to enter the Abyss.
So not born from it, but came from somewhere else. Wow, that opens things up. But where from?
Nobody knows, lost to legend. The theory also says he fought another powerful being for control, Dagon.
Dagon. Wait, isn't that a sea deity?
You got it. There are connections to water with Demogorgon. His realm, the Gaping Maw, is a vast, chaotic sea. Some even think they fought for control of, like, the primal waters, way back when. Okay, so we have this ancient being, enters the abyss, fights a sea deity, and he has two heads. Was it always two?
Ah, great question. Some whispers say he started with one, split in two, fighting Dagon. Some even say the deity Aamoth did it, duality and balance.
Hold on. So his two heads, that constant conflict, might be divine intervention. That's a huge detail. What was Aamoth's motive? Punishment, blessing, something else.
Who knows? It shows how Demogorgon is tied to cosmic forces. His existence seems to challenge order and balance, making even deities get involved.
My mind is blown. Two mysterious origin stories, both saying he's incredibly powerful and disruptive. But how did he become the Prince of Demons?
That's where the story gets really good. Picture the Abyss after the Queen of Chaos was defeated. Total power vacuum.
Right, like a demon free-for-all, everyone wants control.
Exactly. Two powerful demon lords, Grass and Orcus, saw their chance, both strong and cunning with huge armies. It seemed like their fight for supremacy.
And then Demogorgon shows up, right, like smashing through everything.
You got it. While they schemed, Demogorgon went on a rampage. Raw power like nothing the Abyss had ever seen. Slaughtered countless demon lords, changed everything through brute force.
That's terrifyingly impressive. Not a takeover, just pure mayhem. He carved his path to the top, but Grease and Orcus, they wouldn't just stand by, right?
Absolutely not. They tried to stop him, but even together they couldn't. Demogorgon made them acknowledge him as the Prince of Demons, the ruler.
Wow. He dominated, forced these powerful lords to bow down. That says a lot about him. But was it planned? Did he orchestrate this, or was it just chaos fueled by his two heads?
That's the big question. Scholars and demonologists still debate it. Calculated or an outburst? Did Aameul and Hethradiah work together, or were they already fighting back then?
So even his rise to power is a mystery. Everything about him is a riddle. Speaking of Aameul and Hethradiah, let's talk about that. Two heads is one thing, but constantly at war. That's just wild.
It's a fascinating case of self-sabotage, right?
Totally. Like he's his own worst enemy.
Yeah.
I need to know how this plays out.
Well, let's get into their minds, see what this endless struggle means. As we were saying, that conflict between his two heads, that's a big part of what makes Demogorgon so fascinating.
And dangerous, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Think about it. That constant tension, two personalities fighting for control.
It's insane. Like trying to rule a kingdom with someone whispering different things in each ear.
Yeah.
But who are these heads exactly? Like personalities, motivations, give me the dirt.
Okay, let's dissect Demogorgon's mind a bit. The left head, Aameul, he's the cunning one, the smart one, Always scheming, loves knowledge, wants to figure out the multiverse.
Sounds like the brains of the operation. Always got some big plan cooking.
Right. But then you have Hethradiah, the right head. He's all rage, destruction, pure instinct. Like the id unleashed loves chaos and carnage.
So it's intellect versus instinct, strategy versus fury. No wonder he's so unpredictable. But how does this actually play out? Like, what does this duality do in his actions?
Imagine him fighting another demon lord. Aameul might have this whole plan, tricks, traps, the whole deal. But just as it's about to work, Hethradiah, all bloodthirsty, charges in, ruins everything.
Snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. That's got to be frustrating. Wouldn't his enemies use this against him? If they knew, I mean...
Absolutely. Tons of stories about that. Appeal to Hethradiah's rage, trick Aameul's ego, turn Demogorgon against himself.
That's scary. His biggest strength, also his biggest weakness. But wouldn't Aameul, the smart one, realize that? Try to control Hethradiah.
Well, here's the thing. Hethradiah is terrified of being separated from Aameul. Like, just as much as Aameul wants freedom, that fear plus his instincts makes him almost impossible to control.
A vicious cycle, then. Trapped, feeding off each other, holding each other back. Kind of tragic. Two powerful beings never reaching their potential because they're constantly fighting. But how does this affect Demogorgon's influence outside of himself?
Good question. That leads us to how he, despite being chaos incarnate, has managed to influence so much beyond just the abyss.
Right, because he's not just some monster in the dark. He's got followers, cults, even creatures he created. So how does this duality, this order versus chaos thing play out in that?
One fascinating thing is the variety of his followers. It's not just mindless fiends loving chaos. You have intelligent beings, even humans, drawn to him.
Now that's interesting. What would make them follow a creature like Demogorgon? He's literally madness and destruction. What's the appeal?
Think about the races. Ixixaddles, those creepy manta ray things with psionic powers. Troglodytes who love darkness and chaos. Kuatoa, fanatic fishfolk worshipping weird deities.
Okay, so creatures already leaning towards chaos. They see him as like a reflection of themselves. But what about humans? They got to see the danger, right?
But that's the thing. Demogorgon represents rejecting rules, rebelling against order and reason. For some humans, that's powerful. They see him as a liberator, someone for the outcasts, the oppressed.
So not chaos for chaos' sake, but power and freedom in a world they feel rejected by? Twisted empowerment, but I get the appeal.
Exactly. It ties back to his duality. He's both the allure of chaos and the danger of unchecked power. Followers want freedom, but don't see the cost.
Like a demonic Faustian bargain. Power, freedom, but at the cost of sanity, morality. But what about the rituals? How do these cults actually worship him?
Oh, they're not subtle, that's for sure. Blood sacrifices, dark pacts, trying to summon demonic power. Even rumors of cannibalism, self-mutilation.
Okay, that's a bit much for me, but sounds about as chaotic as their deity. Like they're mirroring him in their actions, blurring the line between sanity and madness.
Exactly. It's dangerous messing with the abyss without understanding the consequences. But it's not just about destruction. Demogorgon is also a creator in his own twisted way.
Right. We mentioned he's created some terrifying creatures, chimeras, ettins. Who could even think up those things?
Well, remember, he's duality itself, creation and destruction. He might love chaos, but he also wants to shape the world to his vision.
So not just tearing down, but building something new, reflecting his nature. But are those creations just his puppets, or do they have their own will?
That's the debate. Some say he puts a bit of himself in them, making them inherently chaotic. Others think he just sets them loose, lets chaos unfold.
Either way, they spread his influence, making things even more unstable. But how does this all play out in the material world? He was imprisoned there, right?
He was. And that event, his imprisonment in Watcher's Keep, shows us how his power clashes with those trying to contain it.
Tell me about Watcher's Keep. What is it? Who built it? How did they catch him?
So Watcher's Keep is this ancient fortress on an island off the coast of Tether. Not your typical castle. Some say it was built by an ancient civilization specifically to guard against extraplanar threats.
Like a cosmic prison for keeping chaos out.
Exactly. And it worked. For a long time, Demogorgon was trapped, couldn't affect the material world. His power was neutralized by the Keep's magic.
But he got out, right? What happened? Did the magic wear off?
It's a mystery, but it seems the magic binding him weakened over time.
Makes sense. Even the strongest spells don't last forever. Was it just natural decay or something more deliberate?
There are theories. Maybe a powerful mage or his cultists messed with the keep's defenses to free him?
Sabotage.
Possibly. Or maybe it just faded slowly until it couldn't hold him anymore.
Either way, sounds bad for everyone else.
Oh, it was. His escape caused panic everywhere. Imagine this being imprisoned for centuries, suddenly free.
I can only imagine the chaos. But it wasn't just the escape, right? He attacked Menzoberranzan, didn't he?
He did. The city of spiders got hit hard by his wrath. A chaotic, bloody clash between him and Loth's followers.
Demon Lord versus a goddess. That's intense. What happened? Did he destroy the city?
He definitely caused chaos. But Menzoberranzan is used to conflict. It's built on intrigue and betrayal, power struggles everywhere.
Right, like a nest of vipers even without a demon lord. But why attack them specifically? Something personal with Loth?
Well, Loth, being chaotic evil herself, isn't exactly friends with Demogorgon. They've fought for power and territory before.
So it was a power move. To show he was stronger than Loth and her followers?
Exactly. A clash of titans, two of the most feared beings going head-to-head. And in the middle of it all, a hero emerged.
Wait, are you talking about Drizzt Do'Urden,
Yeah.
the Drow Ranger?
Yep, caught in the crossfire, forced to face Demogorgon himself.
That's a story I want to hear. Drizzt versus Demogorgon. That's epic. But how could a mortal, even one as skilled as Drizzt, stand a chance?
Well, Drizzt's victory was a mix of skill, cunning, and some luck. And it all started with a plan to use Demogorgon's biggest weakness against him.
So Drizzt going up against Demogorgon, that's brave even for him.
Yeah.
What was his plan? He didn't just, charge in, right?
No way. Drizzt's known for being smart, thinking ahead. He knew fighting Demogorgon head-on would be suicide, so he used Demogorgon's own weirdness against him, those two heads.
Right, always fighting each other. How did he use that?
He targeted one head, got it angry and focused while distracting the other. Illusions, tricks, you name it, created this moment where Demogorgon's minds were out of sync.
Like playing chess against yourself, and suddenly your opponent's making moves you didn't plan for. But even confused, it must have taken more than that to beat a demon lord.
Oh, definitely. Drizzt's good, but he's still just a guy. He needed help, and luckily he found it in a weird place.
Okay, tell me. Who helped Drizzt fight a demon lord?
First, his usual crew, Bruenor Battlehammer, the Dwarf King, and Catti Bree, his love. Bruenor, tough as nails, kept Demogorgon focused on him, taking the hits. Catti Bree, amazing archer and spellcaster, attacked from afar, weakened him with magic.
Classic teamwork. Each doing what they do best to give Drizzt a chance.
But there's more, right?
There is, and this is where it gets wild. The final blow, the one that actually took Demogorgon down, came from the Illithids.
The Illithids, mind flayers, what were they doing there?
Turns out they had their own reasons for wanting Demogorgon gone. They had a secret city under Menzoberranzan, and he was messing with their plans.
Yeah, I don't think even mind flayers would want a demon lord as a neighbor. But how did they help Drizzt? They used their mind powers, created the psychic barrier around Demogorgon, trapping him, made Drizzt's final attack way stronger. It was risky, enemies working together, but it worked.
Wow. Skill, magic, mind powers, all working together because of Drizzt's plan? That's amazing. But is Demogorgon gone for good? Or is he just taking a break?
That's the big question. He's from the Abyss, where death isn't always permanent. He might be back in his chaotic realm, but that doesn't mean he's gone forever. The Abyss is, well, infinite. And Demogorgon, being all about chaos, kind of embodies that.
So maybe he's out there planning his revenge on Drizzt and everyone else, but why do people even worship him? He's just destruction. What's the appeal?
People have wondered that forever. I think it's this. He represents something primal, something inside us. He's about rejecting limits, wanting raw power.
So it's not good versus evil or order versus chaos. It's deeper than that.
Yeah, he's got this dangerous allure. He promises freedom from rules, from society. For some people, that's too tempting to resist, even if it costs them everything.
It seems like power in the Abyss always has a price. But before we finish, let's talk about his realm, the Gaping Maw. It's this crazy sea, right? What's it actually like there?
Imagine air thick with sulfur, everything decaying. The sky is always stormy. The ground shakes like something huge is moving underneath.
Already sounds awful. What about the creatures? Krakens, those manta ray things?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Oh, tons of horrible stuff. Huge sea serpents, glowing eyes, fish with teeth like knives, monstrous crabs, all hungry, all the time.
I'm feeling sick just listening. Demogorgon's in the middle of it all, and his weird towers. It's like
What?
chaos made real.
It is. It reminds us that even though we want order, there are always forces of chaos out there, unstoppable, like the universe itself.
There's, yeah, a lot to think about.
Yeah.
This deep dive into Demogorgon has been wild. His origins, his power, his battles, his followers. It's all intense.
It is, and remember, the Abyss is full of possibilities, more secrets, more legends, more things we don't even know about.
Well, everyone listening, hope you enjoyed our trip into Demon World. Stay curious and
You do.
maybe avoid any old underwater fortresses you find. You never know what's inside.